Right, the mushrooms and walnuts are starting to sizzle.
Are you smelling that? You smelling that aroma yet?
Say it again.
Are you smelling the aroma? The aroma of the.
Start to sizzle.
What'd you say?
It's sizzling.
Okay.
Only thing, Wahid, I paused it, and it's kind of like it started off a brand new video.
Well, you can pause it and something happened.
So we're gonna have to send two videos.
Yeah,
All right. Do you saute mushrooms very often, Melvin?
What I do mostly is I put them in I chop them up and then I put them in the oven and broil them. And so
That's healthy. That's really good.
broil them in the oven.
Yeah, the less oils you use, the better it is, and that's why we use these like this, and just let the water from the mushrooms do what they do, so we don't have to add oils. Because it's really, the less oils you got, the better they are. So if you're broiling them and baking them, that's great.
So when you cook them that way, then do you add them? You eat them that way, or do you mix them in and like with other foods to make stuff with them?
I do it both ways. Mushrooms I love. I can eat them by themselves. I can eat them mixed with vegetables. I can eat mushrooms any sort of way.
Okay, great.
All right.
Sometimes I use it as a side, and sometimes I mix it with the vegetables.
Okay, that's great. We eat they've been our like a meat replacement, because I batter fry them a lot. No, not a lot, but I do batter fry them, and then I saute a lot. I've never broiled them, and then when we make this sausage, then we eat them like this. But I've never broiled them before.
Right. Well, I first started out sauteing them, and then I just saw that how mushrooms cook pretty quickly. So if I just put them in the oven, put them on broil, that could do the trick as well.
Now ours has cooked down pretty good. Can you see?
Well, let's see. I can see mine is cooking. It has to cook down though.
Go ahead, take your time. Take your time. This is. Let them do it. Yeah, they'll get real mushy. You know you're there.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing the water at the bottom of the pan starting to come from the mushrooms.
Okay.
You're getting there.
So I have it on 5. Should I increase the temperature?
Are you on 5, Wayne?
I moved it up to 6.
Okay, he turned his up to 6.
I'll put mine on 6.
Okay.
Just a little bit more.
And we're gonna saute till they basically
Yeah, it's getting really mushy. They should be getting really mushy.
Yeah, they're cooking. The water is coming from the mushrooms, so
Yeah.
it's cooking.
It's getting mushy.
Putting it up to 6 is going to help.
Tell them, explain, because you know cooking, how they cook a little.
they're starting when they'll start get an even color, about the color of like hamburger when you cook it.
Like a dark brown?
No, not quite that dark,
Okay.
but even
Even color?
yeah.
Okay.
And that's usually when he starts to add the seasoning. And I'm trying to see what he's doing as far as how much water is cooking out, because some of that water is going to automatically cook off. He don't have a whole lot of water cooking off. This looks about.
They're ready.
Yeah, me either. I don't have a lot of water.
Okay, that's a good thing, because it looks like you won't have to add any extra. And
I just see a few bubbles at the bottom, but not a lot of water at all.
okay.
Let them see it.
Okay, he's gonna give you a close-up view of how they're looking. This is that almost about ready to start seasoning it? Okay, can you see, Melvin?
Okay, I see it. Yeah,
Okay,
I see it.
so that's the color you want, and it's almost ready to start adding in the seasonings.
Okay.
All right, go back over, Wade. And I want to give you Here, you can use this. When you start measuring your seasonings, that's so you won't get extra in there.
Okay, let me show you. Okay, come down a little bit.
And then once you get that consistency and the color looks pretty even, Melvin, you can probably turn it down to about 4.
Okay, will do.
Okay.
And he's about ready to start with the seasonings.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got the seasoning, Melvin, lined up as the way they're gonna be put in, and
Oh, really?
yeah, at the very back, we use the most of it. The principal amount, or the principal one, is the sage. The sage is what gives it the flavor. These are just kind of, additives I add on. I start with a little dill, then I get a little cloves, then I use the allspice, then I use the Italian seasoning, then the sage, because you're gonna put more sage in than anything else.
Okay, so hold on. You said you start with the dill, go to the cloves, next is the allspice. After the allspice is what?
The Italian seasoning,
Then next?
and then the sage.
And then what about cayenne pepper?
The cayenne pepper you put in very last, and you do that to your taste.
And the same thing with the salt.
Yes.
Okay.
Because cayenne pepper is not
It's tough.
one of his seasonings that he put in the recipe. But with different people that I've made this for, they've used red pepper flakes,
Right.
cayenne, and but that was basically that's the way they wanted to do it, and it was delicious.
That was their choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We're
So
ready.
he's about ready. He's gonna start with dill,
Okay.
That's a tablespoon.
and he's gonna put in 1 tablespoon of dill. Now you see because I know you just dump it in there. So you want to look at it first to make sure that's what you usually put.
You don't do a lot of that. These are just alternatives. I mean, they in there, but it's not a lot.
Well, I want
This ain't much.
a tablespoon. Okay, but seasoning
So
one.
one tablespoon of dill, you said.
Yes.
Okay, I have my tablespoon measurement here.
That's not a full tablespoon. He's not putting in a full tablespoon.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. I'm going to get it as accurate as we can, Melvin, so you'll get the taste. And once you get it, then you can adjust to your, but it's pretty close to a tablespoon.
And that's the dill, correct?
That's the dill. And,
Can't use much of this. It's too
okay, well then get a smaller spoon. We're going to the cloves now. And you got a half, you got a fourth, and you have an eighth. That looks like, that's 1 teaspoon. And your cloves, your cloves are pretty strong. You want to go down to a half?
That's right.
Okay, so he's putting in 1 teaspoon of cloves.
1 teaspoon?
Yes. Is that 1 or is that a half? Okay.
Yeah, like you said, cloves are strong, so you're going to do a full teaspoon.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's enough. We're going to start with that. You can always put in some more if it's not the taste that you're accustomed to, Wahid. But don't put in something because you can't take it out.
See, these don't carry much. So you take
I know allspices doesn't.
Yeah,
It'll
same-
take down
same-
everything.
Same amount.
Okay, we're going to do a teaspoon of allspice.
A teaspoon.
Yes. And you're going to saute that up a little bit. And you probably want to maybe stir your mixture up a little bit. Ours is kind of starting to stick. And so you may want to turn it down just a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to turn it down to 4 like you said.
That's
4.
3. 3.
And if it's sticking a little bit more, you may want to turn it down a little bit more. Maybe 2 or 3.
I like 3. I'll go with 3.
Okay, and then kind of mix those in.
Okay, I've done that. I'm doing that now.
And he's going to the Italian seasoning.
Okay. And how much of the Italian seasoning?
Same thing.
A teaspoon.
Teaspoon.
I'm going to get up a little bit closer so he can get a really good view. So you put in a teaspoon of the Italian seasoning. Let's do the cayenne last, Waheed, because you're gonna put your sage in and your salt, and then you can take that red pepper up however hot you want it.
Yeah, that's on his case.
All right, now we ready? He's going with the sage now,
Okay.
and he's got a heaping tablespoon of sage,
Tablespoon.
and that's a heaping tablespoon,
Okay. Sage. Okay.
and that's basically to start. And you're gonna saute that in with all your seasonings, and then we'll probably taste it to see if we got it balanced with all the flavors. So is that getting there? You did a little the sniff test. Did it pass? Is it working?
Now he's going to tell him that we start adding the salt, he can start tasting.
Okay, so how much salt? How much salt? Wait. Okay, are you gonna let's like a teaspoon of salt,
Yeah, do a teaspoon.
and then now you probably want to add about a teaspoon of salt, Melvin,
Teaspoon. Okay.
and mix that in.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a fork so we can sample and see if we got it, if that's where it's supposed to be. We're gonna do a little taste, see if we got everything going. Ours looks like sausage. What you think about yours, Melvin?
Yeah, it looks like ground sausage. Yeah.
It's good. Maybe a little more salt. Now ours is really close. Maybe a little more sage and a little more salt, and you got it. You taste it while he can see if that's where you like it.
So tell him you can go.
I would take it down maybe like a teaspoon. Taste it, Melvin, see what you think.
Okay. But just before I do that, I was taking notes while I was doing it, but I missed a few steps. So just in terms of the seasoning, after the cloves, what did we put in after the cloves?
Allspice. And it was
What was the allspice?
a teaspoon of allspice.
Okay, and then after the allspice?
It was Italian seasoning, and how much Italian seasoning you put in?
Same thing.
A teaspoon of Italian seasoning.
Okay, 1 teaspoon. And then we did the sage 1 tablespoon.
Yeah, and that was a heaping tablespoon.
Yeah, heaping, gotcha. Okay.
Here.
All right, so now I'm going to do my taste test.
Yes. And because ours it seems like it's pretty much theirs.
You, you might want to. The salt is the key here now. Mm-hmm. You got seasoning. But he's how you got?
I need some more. I think you need some more salt.
Add more salt.
And I'm getting